Kamran Matin is a senior lecturer on international politics at the University of Sussex. He joins us live from Brighton in the UK. Thanks for your time. What's your take on how the conflict between Israel and Iran is developing right now?
Yes, thanks for having me. So this conflict has been in the making for at least 2 decades, in fact. And the latest round of negotiations, which your package also referred to, was due to take place yesterday, but it was cancelled. But prior to that, Witkoff, Trump's envoy regarding these negotiations, had sent Iranians a letter to which Iran did not submit a formal reply, but Iranian officials had said that the conditions in that letter is unacceptable to them. I think this was the background to the decision by Israelis to attack and for Trump to acknowledge it, largely because the two sides had red lines which were quite far from each other. Iran did not accept any deal which included the cessation of enrichment on Iranian soil, and that was precisely what the American side wanted, although in a gradual way. So I think this is the run-up to the conflict. I mean, Israel has clearly prepared for this for a long time, and given the price they are at the moment paying, it's unlikely they would stop the attacks until they reach some of their objectives in terms of destruction of Iranian nuclear and missile facilities. And in the meantime, it may well be that the more Israeli casualties, the more they might pressure United States to join in order to attack the more kind of inaccessible nuclear facilities like Fordo, which is deep underground under a mountain near Tehran. On the other hand, Iran has also responded, as we know. Unfortunately, preparation for the protection of civilians in Iran is extremely poor, and lots of casualties have happened, and people are obviously terrified because of Israeli record of fighting in Gaza and all the war crimes that international institutions have pointed out in relation to that conflict.
Well, the attacks continue, but are we getting a clearer picture of what sort of damage has been done to Iran's nuclear capabilities when it comes to personnel, facilities, etc.?
Yes, in the first 24 hours, the Israelis inflicted significant blows to Iran's nuclear facilities as well as air defense systems. Almost entire top echelon of Iran's senior IRGC commanders were taken out. Senior intelligence officials have been taken out. Most of the overground facilities in Natanz and Isfahan have been destroyed. These are the key nuclear facilities. At the moment, it seems that Israel is trying to attack Fordo, which, as I mentioned, is deep underground, as well as they are trying to attack the missile launchers, which are obviously, targeting Israel, usually at night. The thing is that Israel has been able to establish pretty much uncontested air superiority. Iranian skies are open to Israeli planes. So I think calculation in Israel is that as this situation continues, they can degrade Iranian missile capability, especially because last year's attack by Israel destroyed some of the factories where some parts of these missiles were manufactured. So the thinking goes that Iran is unable to produce new missiles. And the stock of missiles Iran has is around 2,000 by some estimates, which means if Iran has to fire a lot of missiles to some of them so that some of them can get through Israeli defense, within 2-3 weeks, they might run out of missiles, and then Israel will have even more upper hand in the conflict.
Okay, so this all sounds like a very dynamic situation. When it comes to a blow to Iran's nuclear capabilities, would you also say these attacks have been a blow to the regime?
Well, I think the two are closely linked in some ways because the Islamic Republic has so closely tied its internal and external legitimacy and external deterrence to the nuclear project as well as the missile project. What is, I think, particularly damaging to Iranian government is that its sheer incapacity to protect Iranian people from a conflict which everybody expected to take place at some point, unless a deal was made, and the deal was not made, as I mentioned, because the positions of the two sides were very far from each other. But apart from that lack of legitimacy because of inability to defend and protect people, there is also just the sheer number of Iranian senior officials and leaders who have been taken out. Many of the key institutions of Iranian state seem to be being led at the moment by much more junior characters. And of course, you and your viewers have heard that apparently Donald Trump vetoed Israel's decision to assassinate Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. So that might actually be reversed if the conflict continues. And in the absence of Khamenei, paradoxically, there will be both a possibility for worsening of the conflict, but also for de-escalation, because a new leader in Iran could kind of open a new chapter in relation with the West and more easily blame the past problems on the deceased leader. But also the same situation can lead to a kind of hardening of position of the regime. But from what we hear from Netanyahu and Israeli government, they clearly think that Iranian state, because of the economic circumstances, because of corruption, because of repression on the people, and so on and so forth, is internally fragile. The danger they are running is that by targeting civilians, they might actually force some people actually behind the regime, people who in the normal times may not have supported the Iranian regime.
So you're saying these attacks by Israel could backfire on Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, having called on the Iranians to rise up. I mean, it's a tricky situation, isn't it? These people would be putting their lives at risk, and the attacks have already had a high civilian toll, we're told. So where does this all leave the people of Iran?
Yes, I mean, the thing is, within Iran, the situation is different from region to region. Unfortunately, Islamic Republic has repressed over decades all the popular associations, parties, organizations, and so on. So people are disorganized. So even if they might be very angry at the regime, they may not be able to mount effective protest against the regime. But this situation is different in some other parts of Iran. For example, in Kurdistan, we have a much more organized population. There are Kurdish political parties which may help to mobilize people if the central government's grip on the region is loosened because of these military attacks and so on. But in any case, I think as far as Israel is concerned, their objective is to delay the threat of Iran's nuclear program and its missile project. So I think everybody agrees that it's difficult to destroy these projects from the air, but it can be put back by at least a year or two. And then maybe Netanyahu hopes that this gives them a time to further coordinate with the Americans, or Americans might move in at some point. In any case, I mean, many conflict of this kind involves a degree of risk-taking and, if you like, gambling. So Netanyahu is gambling on the fact that the regime might just fall apart because of its sheer weakness. But this is just one possibility among others. It's not certain that this will be the case.
Really interesting analysis there from Kamran Matin, Senior Lecturer on International Politics, University of Sussex. Thank you very much for being on DW.
Thank you.